Good day, lovely soul, or good eve, or terrible day, terrible eve. Giving you a hug wherever you're at, acknowledging and loving and caring for wherever you're at. And I hope we can create a wonderful space for you today because we are talking about August and the energy that is coming forward for August. I was getting ready for the recording, putting on my cute shirt. Yes, represent my hometown. Anyways, and like, yes, cowboys and cowgirls. Anyways, so pumped. Feeling that lately. August, when I was getting ready, there was like a soft air energy coming in, which I thought was really beautiful, which was really lovely. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards and oracle cards to put together this sensation and feeling and see, what comes up in relation to this soft air. It's like a warm, misty, but really warm. No, so it's not watery, it's air and it's a little like misty, but it's not fog where you can't see. It's actually like almost what I'm feeling. The air is starting to clear and it feels like you're going to be seeing more. There's going to be more lightness. So, en route to this feeling, this vision, let's see what the cards bring forward in support or to help us move towards that. Yeah, so this is Eight of Pentacles, super cool. So, Eight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands so far, but Eight of Pentacles is earth energy. Pentacles is earth energy. Eight of Pentacles is building a long-term, sort of stable kind of world for yourself. The coolest part is the shadow reflection that is here on this card. So by the way, if you are listening to this and you don't see the video, I'm pulling some tarot cards. This one she's lying on her stomach on the sand and there's a beautiful shadow cast on her back of like a fern or something like that. And that's the air energy that I'm talking about here. So, whatever we are going through or have been going through, there's a very big, not only invitation for this lightness, but there's a very big movement towards the lightness. So, hopefully, we can all be aware to see the lightness come forward. Sometimes, and I'm kind of feeling this for August, it might be light ways that you start to notice this. It might not necessarily be very like, oh my gosh, there it is. I think July and some other months had that energy. This is a little more subtle, maybe, which is also very lovely. And the cool thing about this subtle energy that I feel for August is that it's a very sustainable energy. It's a very sustainable movement towards the softness. So you might be seeing these soft moments or soft energies or soft happenings. Like you might see these things coming together in a very small, subtle way. So finding those moments of magic, finding those minutes or moments where you're in presence and you can find the gratitude or the greatness in that moment or the clarity or the truth or whatever comes forward for you when you notice and when you're present and you have that truth and honesty to you, so much can happen. And it's these little moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I felt that. Cool. Could be small, but they're sustainable movements towards this. So this is fantastic. The Knight of Wands, I mean, I feel like we're stepping into creating something. And to me, especially with the King, so did I say Knight? Interesting if I did, but King of Wands, and I'll go through why that could also play a part in this, the Knight of Wands, but the King of Wands, sorry, is a very like well established energy in terms of creativity and purpose. And so if you're stepping into a new project or a new business or a new idea or a new creation to some capacity, this is a great time to do so. I mean, it's always a great time to do so. If if it's aligned with you and you're excited about it, just do it. You know what I mean? And and all jokes aside, this is stepping into this idea creation, and it can be slow and steady. It can be that you line up all your ducks, the cute little duckies, before you take steps. It could be if a duck gets out of line a little bit, that's okay. You take a minute, you slow down the process, you reconfigure it, and then you can move forward from there. So King of Wands energy is, again, very established. And so to me, what you're working towards or what you're building towards in this time is, again, very sustainable, rewarding, full of purpose, and it sustains you moving forward, whether that's financially or in terms of like your creative spark or some sort of like refreshing thing for your system to reset. Like this thing is going to have a big part in your life going forward. It's interesting in my monthly check-ins. This feels very specific to something too. So usually I have a very general outlook on things, and this has quite a specific message coming in, which is lovely. I think there's been some really high energy. We've seen some energies where there's like big expressions, there's this and there's that. And so it's like, to me, what I'm sensing is that, you could have gone through a time where you've gone like really awesome and even a little extra and a little louder even, which is awesome. We want to exercise that because heck yeah. And this is like along the same lines of where you're going, and this is a softer version of. So it's almost like you're exercising another way of doing this. And to me, in this energy, especially with the pentacle energy that we saw at the beginning, this is something that you're going to be rooted in going forward forever. And so it's finding that stillness in self. It's finding that confidence in self with this King of Wands energy as well, looking on my deck, looking very confident. And so, yeah, to me, this is like another version, a more embodied version of what you've been working on or working towards, whether that's working on yourself or working towards an idea like we're talking about here. And by the way, if this is, sitting with you in terms, oh, cute. My next card. If this is sitting with you in terms of like, maybe this is my time to step into self-work or my spirituality, this can be exactly that energy. So it's almost like August has a tone of soft creation, which is super cool. And don't be afraid to go loud if it's feeling that way, but it feels like soft and subtle because it feels really sustainable. So there's like a sustainable sort of switch that's happening in August, where we're really taking the things that we want to take with us, we choose to take with us in a very soft, conscious way, then boom, 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 it just continues to align for you moving forward. So this is really, it's really delightful. I feel really at ease. So if I was to go to your business, if you started a cute little corner store with little bips and bops from around the world, I would feel so excited, but also taken care of in your space. I would feel like, wow, I landed somewhere. Like if I'm talking to you and you're doing this self-work in this August energy, I'm gonna feel that. I'm gonna be like, wow, this person really knows themselves. And so there's an invitation for this in August if it's not already establishing itself for you even before. So I love this, the confidence that, is available here for you to fulfill. The last tarot card I'm going to pull for right now, and then I'm going to pull some oracle cards to see what supportive things we can bring forward, is the Three of Cups, which is really like celebratory in reading, in tarot in general, but it's this specifically, especially with my card, with everyone kind of having a party celebration. This is a very celebratory thing. And I think for me, whoa, I just heard recognition, which, this isn't something, this energy in August isn't for recognition. You're not doing it for recognition. You're not doing it for external things, whatever this means for you in August with this sort of creation energy. You're doing it for you. And because of that really centered thing that you're working with and from, other people notice in a way of like, oh, dang, so like, we like this. And again, if like I was to go by your shop, I would want to come in. If you were doing an opening celebration or putting on a play or starting a new business or starting a new project at work that's all yours, or a charity event, like, not just me, but like we people would want to come because it's rooted in you. And I have some blog posts that are about this sort of sensation and feeling, which is really cool. That's on my Substack. That's exclusive to my Substack space. It's Rebs the Wrecker there. So if you want more fun things to look into, it's a very intellectual space. I see something here. Okay, so I have the Shadow Work Alert card coming up in my Oracle deck with beautiful more ferns. Or I don't know if that's a fern, but either way, it's almost looks like tiny. And so this is great. Then interesting. Then we have no, and your sacred is energy. So we almost have like a flip side, or there could be something that comes into your world again. This is a very specific monthly read that triggers you essentially. And sometimes as we evolve into these really solid, confident versions of ourselves, no matter what we're doing, there can be some challenges. There can be some check-ins, what I like to call them. Sometimes people call them tests. I'm very that word can sometimes work. They don't really test us. They just check in with us, our guides or God or the energies. And it's sort of like, okay, like where are we at? And they're not doing it to you. It's literally like a little check-in just to see where we can reshuffle within ourselves and further build in our ease and confidence within ourselves. So in August, you might have some voices come forward that say, if you're creating something, this is shit, I think I saw in Jay Shetty's, he does some posts where he's like, everyone backed out of my podcast because they said it was going to be nothing. It could be this sort of energy that I'm seeing. And he kept doing it. And now it's massive, So there might be some adversary comments or people that come forward, whether they're old or new. I think it's going to be a mix of both. It feels like there could be like some new people that you're like, okay, like I've heard this before. I've heard this from either my family and friends. I'm not unfamiliar with this territory. So let's pull up our sleeves and exercise my boundaries, my confidence in myself. And if it does trigger you, human, welcome to our human world. It's very normal and natural. You're going to navigate this differently. I really feel that. And if you don't and you need some support, of course, reach out or get to your journal or go to your friend or therapist, what have you, right? So find that support if you do end up opening up a wound and crumbling a little. There's nothing wrong with that. You have a new foundation building for you. You've been building it for a while, and now going forward is going to get even stronger and easier for you to deal with these sort of triggers or activation moments or points. I do feel as you're exercising your greatness in August very well. Your energy is sacred, as one of the cards says. Don't be afraid to say no. Thank you, no. Do the inner work of like, usually actually had this happen a few days ago, something happened where I'm like, usually I would fight and it was right of me to fight. And that's where I was before. And I love that for me. And now I feel that fighting isn't going to serve me right now. I could if I want to. I have every right to, but I'm just going to kind of, not respond. No thanks. And that was a new choice. And that was a choice that was aligned with the confidence that I'm feeling within myself, and that some people are just going to differ, and that's okay. And they are entitled to their opinion and belief. And we are just two different peeps doing two different things. For me, this energy at the beginning, the Eight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, and Three of Cups, you're operating from your heart. You're a good person. You're operating from your heart. You're doing this for the good of your community or yourself, or even just to give inspiration to people by fulfilling something within yourself. Like you've got a good heart. You've got this, like really trust and honor that within yourself. So again, this read almost feels like a very direct tarot read that I do sometimes on my TikTok. So it's very interesting that it's coming up this way. There might be some really specific things that come forward in August, but essentially to bring it back, I feel there is the fog is dissipating or dissolving. The thickness is lightening up. There's going to be a lighter feeling. There can be a lighter feeling to August. If you're not feeling that and you're through August, something to look into. You can come to myself. We can dig in and see what's coming up, because definitely to me, the fog is lifting and there's a lightness. There's more ease for you to be in your own energy, in what you're working towards, and having this alignment of purpose personal joy, giving back, all of these things. Like it all lines up here, and then it moves forward with like a soft, delicious, long-term sort of energy. So yeah, I really love this. I feel great in your energy in this. I feel confident in you. And I'm also here to back you up and support you should you ever need it. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, don't be afraid to reach out on me on social media, Rebs the Recca. Again, I have a number of blog posts that are super awesome, deep, intellectual, very stimulating, and also have a bit of personal things in there for myself in terms of, living on this earth and connection to some things that are greater than us. So you can go to my Substack, Rebs the Recca, as well. I actually, you're listening to it right now. I just put this together. So you're listening. If you're listening on my podcast, you're on Soul Unscripted. If you're not on my podcast and you're seeing us elsewhere, I do have a podcast, Soul Unscripted, that you can listen to. I do some special episodes with Aubrey, Naked Truths. We have some really beautiful conversations there. And yeah, I love you to bits and pieces. We'll see you later.